We both started ISITNEWS together, filmed it through the pandemic. Crazy challenge, and we did it.
And we can still crop and have this emotion.
Crazy Alledjo Studio.
I love it.
Stay tuned.
And action.
You're gonna love it. Hi everyone, I'm Tafari Hinds, host and co-founder of ISITNEWS, and I am happy to be talking to the amazing, wonderful, lovely, kind Kassim Lassissi. Thank you for joining me on the chair of ISITNEWS. Kassim is a Beninese French fashion designer and the creative director of the fashion brand Alledjo.
Thank you again for having me.
I remember meeting you for the first time last week and just talking to you, and I'm so fascinated by you. And what I love the most is the fact that you started a brand from nothing and it is successful and amazing. And I just want to know from you, like, how did that came about? How did Alledjo came about? How did it all started for you?
So Alledjo was born in 2000. I think it's been 3 years now. Mm-hmm. So Alledjo is a fashion brand made in Africa. The mission is to give visibility to African craftsmanship while celebrating the world culture. I got two passions in life. The first passion is simply traveling. The second passion is textile fabrics. And I was thinking about how can I use my passion and make something out of it. And that's how Alledjo was born. In 2017, I was in a very low point of my life. And I was examining and analyzing everything that I have done up to here so far. And I was thinking what would be the next step of my life. It just came up like a light bulb. A brand, a clothing brand, but I didn't know how it was going to look like. I didn't know the name of the brand, but I knew at that moment that I found something that's going to be the next step of my life.
Yeah.
2 days later, I found the name.
How did you find the name?
Okay, sure. So Alledjo means a visitor in Yoruba. And I wanted something that reflects my origin because I am originally from West Africa, Benin. And Yoruba is a language spoken as well in Benin and in Nigeria.
Yeah.
A deeper meaning of Alledjo would be to be a visitor of this life.
You make these amazing like shirts, trousers. I wouldn't say just summer. You can wear this any time of the year. Under a coat, under a jacket, or if you're in the Caribbean, if you're in Africa, if you're in Asia where it's hot, you're free to wear these amazing fabrics and shirts, and the fabrics move. That's what I meant to say. Like even if there's no wind, there's something feel like it's moving. So is this a part of the traveling like inspiration? Why the clothes feel like this, and also you go to these places?
As you can see, we use different materials, and the focus are usually silk, crepe, chiffon silk and linen, and all the material or fabrics are usually chosen because of the fluidity of the fabric. Simply because, as the name says, it is being a visitor, so it's always being on movement or moving, going to one point to another point, keep on traveling, everything. So I want it to be transmitted throughout the clothes.
You did that very well.
Yeah.
Because I'm wearing your shirt.
Thank you.
And it feels like it's moving on me. It's almost like water. Like I'm walking and it's just moving. So it's actually really
I'm doing
nice.
my work very well.
Yes, you are.
Since I was a kid, I always travel. I was born in Paris, and then my parents moved to Benin, where I'm originally from. And from there, I was moving back and forth between France and Benin for education purpose. And then when I have my high school diploma, I moved back to France. From that, I went to London to learn English.
Yeah.
Then I moved to New York. Then I came back to Paris. Then I went to an exchange student in South Korea. I always loved traveling. It never appeared in my mind that it would be, it's actually a passion.
Yeah.
And the moment it actually became a passion is when I went to South Korea as an exchange student for 6 months.
Wow, to South Korea.
And from there, everybody was just going on holidays. You know, you don't get to go to that part of the world unless you have an opportunity to go there.
Yeah.
So when I found the opportunity to live in South Korea, I get to travel around that region. So I was going to Thailand. I went to Thailand. I went to Cambodia, and I went to Japan. That's when I'm like, okay, I actually love doing this, you know? And that's how it hit me that, I love traveling. I love passion. I love getting to know how other people are living.
I didn't know you went to Asia. I just thought like, you know, I thought like you just went to like, is it Marrakesh?
Yeah.
That the first collection, which we will come to, was made. But I didn't even to Asia. I've not been to Asia. I've never been to Asia, and I really want to go.
I love Asia.
What's going on? Especially like being a black person in Asia. Like, tell me what's going on.
Well, okay. Well, in Asia, there's not a lot of black people in Asia, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And I think I was one of 3 or 4 students out of 10,000 students in that school.
Wow.
So yeah, it's the first time that I was being in a country where being black was a strong minority, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So it's actually through the experience in Asia that I actually get to understand my passion for travel and being, you know, interested in other culture. How do other people eat? How do other people, you know, dance? How do other people speak? And I was very much interested in that because we all have the same basic thing, but we all do it completely different from this region to the other region.
Yeah. The first collection that was made in, or should I say, it was inspired by your trip to Marrakesh in Morocco. Tell me about that and how that became about.
I had this idea of the brand in 2017. In 2018, we launched the first collection, and it was about Marrakesh. I think the collection was called An Ode to Marrakesh.
A what?
An ode.
An ode.
Do we say that in English or no? I don't know. Is ode or ode? I don't know. I get confused between switching languages all the time. But yeah, I guess it's an ode.
Say it in French.
In ode.
In ode.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so I went to Marrakesh. I get to experience the city. I get to speak to the local. I get to eat. I get to experience the culture itself, you know, and whatever I have experienced and whatever I have felt, which are emotion, I turn them into physical product, which are the clothes that derive from that collection.
Right.
For example, there was a shirt called Palmeret, which is printed palm trees. With a sandy color, which refers to the Palmer, which is the neighborhood in Marrakesh, with all the palm trees.
Wow.
So the whole collection was all about the sandy color, the brown, and it was all about, you know, a tribute to the city.
This approach to fashion design, I find very fascinating. I follow various designers like on Instagram, and you know, you follow designers, and you always see them traveling to different places. But when the collection is shown, you'd never really hear any references to the places that they traveled to and the fabrics they might have seen and was inspired by. I really like the fact that you went to Marrakesh as your first collection, and the essence of the clothes is based around the community that you visit. How do you appreciate rather than appropriate so well? Which like the fashion establishment do get wrong a lot of times.
You always hear cultural appropriation all the time on social media. But to get it right, I have to Google the meaning of cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
So let me go. It goes as, is the adoption, usually without acknowledgement, of cultural identity markers from subcultures or minority communities into mainstream culture by people with relatively privileged status. in a nutshell, when members of a dominant culture appropriate from minority culture. As you can see, I am black. I mean, we both are black.
Yeah.
And on the pyramid, on the social, on the race pyramid, we are on the bottom of the pyramid, which is that we don't have much power economically or socially. So it's definitely not a definition that I refer to.
Yeah.
I would say we are not appropriating other culture, but rather appreciating other culture.
Yeah.
It's more it's an appreciation rather than appropriation.
Yeah. I mean, I remember talking to you about this earlier, and I was kind of like grilling you on it. But then I get to realize that even if someone goes, not because you're black meaning you can do stuff, it means it's appropriated. But the difference here, because I did a talk on this very same issue, and what I got from it is, as long as you make credit to the source that you're getting it from, and as long as you appreciate, you make that known. Like you said, the very essence of the patterns on the shirts, the sandy colors that are from this, you've seen, and you're letting us know that it came from here, and you're letting us know that this is what inspired you, this is what this culture is. I feel like I want to go there. I want to go and see these palm trees you're talking about. So for me, I don't see that as cultural appropriation. I see it more as appreciation, because you let me know where the source came from, and you're not taking credit for it just by yourself.
Yeah, as the mission of the brand says it, is giving visibility to African craftsmanship while celebrating the world culture.
Yeah.
So it's about celebrating our differences, the diverse cultures of the world.
The clothes is manufactured in Africa. What is that process like? What's going on there?
The idea is simple. When I had the idea of the brand, I wanted something that my people can benefit from.
Yeah.
It makes total sense that I have to go to where I'm from, so people can participate, can be involved in the work that I do.
I feel like that's important, and I was saying it to you earlier. If you are this young emerging designer, let's say from outside of Africa, whether you're in the UK, France, America, wherever it is, we always think like our clothes are manufactured either in Asia, or it could be manufactured in Italy, or if it's the prestigiousness of, it recognized as the most prestigious and all of this establishment bullshit. But I really love the idea that Africa can produce these stuff. Africa can be merchant. It is, because you have already proven that. You established the brand, and it's manufactured in Africa. And I'm wearing the shirt. It's gorgeous. And I will tell you if it isn't, because I'm that kind of person. I'll be like, bitch, go back to the drawing board. But this feels amazing. I'm wearing it, and it's great. And it was made by someone in Africa. Tailored. You use tailored, right?
Yes.
Is this people that studied abroad, or is it people that is local to Beninese?
They're local to Africa. They're local to Senegal. They're local to Benin. They're local to wherever we find them. There's a lot of African tailors, simply because, compared to Europe, for example, we do not have fast fashion. We do not have such thing like H&M, Zara, or basically any brand that provide clothes on a daily basis for the communities. So everybody get to source the fabric on the market, on the local market, and bring them directly to the tailor,
right,
to make the clothes.
Right.
So you just go to the market, you choose whichever fabric that you like, and you go to your tailor and say, I would like to have this, I would like to have this, and they make it on you,
They just measure you and make it on you.
So it's like more like customized,
What kind of advice would you give to not just people listening from outside of Africa, but people in Africa, people from your own country, your own community, that think, I one day would like to follow my dream and my aspiration to do something in the world? What advice would you give to them?
My parents are both entrepreneurs.
Right.
and everybody in my family are entrepreneurs, actually. So there's a huge industry of entrepreneurs in Benin because everybody creates their own platform, their own business, their own, whatever they're trying to achieve. So I don't know which advice I can give because it's already in the culture.
Right.
To start a business, to do something.
You mentioned to me this in the past that you had like 3 years ago you started a brand and you did 3 collections, right? And they're all from 3 different places that you've been to.
3 inspiration, but 6 collections.
3 inspiration, but 6 collection. Tell me about that.
The first year was about Marrakesh. And the first collection was during spring and summer. So it's usually a vibrant color, very vibrant. And then you have the second that comes at the end of the year, which is around September, October, which are more like brown, more like a subtle colors. Simply because it's fall and winter, and those colors are more adequate for that time of the year.
Did you find it challenging to produce your last collection through the pandemic?
No, thankfully no. Simply because I started producing before the pandemic happened. And then when the pandemic happened, I was just finalizing the collection.
We know how difficult it can be to break through as a fashion designer in the fashion industry. But thankfully there is social media. Would you say that was helpful for you, social media?
I think social media was definitely a push for Alledjo, in the sense that if there were no Instagram or all the rest of social media, there would have not been Alledjo today, because that's actually the platform how we promote.
It's very successful. I remember when Clement, my co-founder, sent me your Instagram of the brand. It was just easy. I didn't have to go too far. I didn't have to search too long. Once I saw the Instagram, I remember seeing this outfit. I think it was the full white one. I was like, oh my God, this is how I want to look. And if you can do that, you know what I mean? If you can let someone do that, I think you have achieved something. Well, yeah, thank you for joining me on the trip of ISITNEWS. It's been amazing to talk to you, Kassim, and I wish you a lot of luck for the future.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this conversation. It was lovely to meet you, and it was lovely to tell you more about Alledjo and who is behind Alledjo.
Thank you.